Good day, dear students. Hope you all are keeping in good health by the grace of God and concentrating on your studies. Today, we will be studying Chapter 8 in History, Tourism and History. In this chapter, we will study tourism in the past, types of tourism, development of tourism, conservation and preservation of historical places, professional opportunities in the tourism and hospitality industry. Before we try to understand about tourism in the past, let's see the definition of tourism. Traveling to visit places in distant regions, that is faraway regions, for a specific purpose is known as tourism. Now let's see about tourism in the past. The tradition of traveling is very old in India. We could see people from India had traveled far and wide for several reasons. Let's see the reasons. People used to travel for pilgrimage. The people of India are devoutly religious, and these pilgrimages are a kind of travel and tourism that Indians would crave for. The next reason is people would also go for local fairs and festivals even in ancient times. These local fairs and festivals were major tourist attraction. Another reason to travel for in ancient India was to see a renowned teacher, and then this travel or tourism would also have a purpose, that is good education. Yet another reason people would travel for is trade and business. So we see that there are several reasons that we have from ancient times for which people undertook traveling. Let's see some interesting information about Gautam Buddha and some foreign travelers. Let's begin with Gautam Buddha. The Buddhist literature tells that Gautam Buddha had traveled to several places in India. He visited the ancient cities of India for preaching his message of enlightenment. The Buddhist monks were ordained. Monks means male member of a religious community, and ordained means received holy orders. So these Buddhist monks had received holy orders that they should not stay in one particular place, but they would keep on traveling continuously at several places to enrich their life experiences of enlightenment. Even the Jain monks and the Hindu sadhus have been found traveling constantly in ancient India. Now we will study about a Chinese monk named Yuan Shang. He came all the way to India after traveling for 6 years on foot in 630 CE. In the medieval period, many saints such as Saint Namdev, Saint Eknath, Guru Nanak and Swami Ramdas, they had also traveled extensively in India. So this tradition of tourism in India is not new, but it is practiced since ancient times. Let us see about foreign travelers who have left their travelogues and several accounts for us. Let us start with Benjamin of Teudela. Benjamin of Teudela, he was born in Spain and he was the first European traveler or discoverer. During the period of 1159 to 1173 CE, he traveled to many countries like France, Germany, Italy, Greece, Syria, Arabia, Egypt, Iraq, Persia, India and China. And when he traveled to so many countries, he used to maintain diaries of his travel accounts, and then these diaries are viewed as important historical documents. Next foreign traveler is Marco Polo. He was the Italian traveler of the 13th century and he introduced Asia, especially China, to Europe. He had stayed in China for 17 long years, and because he stayed there for a long time, he wrote his travel accounts which had attracted the Europeans to the eastern countries. And he wrote extensively about the countries of Asia. He wrote about the flora and fauna of Asia, about the social life of the Asian continent. He also wrote about the culture of Asia, and besides all this, he had also written about the trade system of Asia. Now we have another West Asian traveler whose name was Ibn Battuta. He was the traveler of the 14th century and he took the world on a virtual travel of the entire Islamic world with his travel accounts. He was traveling for 30 years and he had resolved that he would not travel twice on the same route. And he decided that even if he had to go to the same place, he would take a new route. His travel accounts are helpful in understanding the medieval history and social life of people during that time. Now let's study about Gerardus Mercator. Gerardus Mercator, he was a 16th century cartographer. A cartographer means a professional person who makes maps. So Gerardus Mercator, he is known for creating the world map and the globe of the earth. And his work has proved to be useful for navigation around the world. Now let's study about Thomas Cook. In the later half of the 19th century CE, the name of Thomas Cook is noteworthy with respect to tourism history. He organized a trip from Leicester to Loughborough, which is in UK, for about 600 people, and this trip was quite successful. After this trip, he also organized a round trip of Europe and he took people on a tour of several European countries. He was successful over here as well, and so eventually he established a travel agency selling tourist tickets. So this early venture of Thomas Cook, it opened the door for development of modern tourism. Now let's study about a Marathi traveler, vishnubhat Gursey. Since ancient times, the tradition of travelling from corner to corner is prevalent in India. Vishnubhat Gursey, he wrote down the accounts of his journey from Maharashtra to Ayodhya and back to Maharashtra, and he was actually on a pilgrimage. He had published a book of his travel accounts entitled Mazha Pravas, means my journey. So while he was travelling to Ayodhya, he had become an eyewitness to the first war of Indian independence of 1857, and he had also witnessed many events of the Indian War of Independence, and thus he mentioned about these events in his book Mazha Pravas. His book Mazha Pravas, it had become an historical account as well. His accounts are full of detailed descriptions of the revolt of 1857. He wrote about the various incidences during that period, especially about the life of Lakshmi Bai, the Queen of Jhansi. We also get to know the lingual structure of Marathi language in the 18th century. And this book is one of the important means of history of that period. Now we are going to study about different types of tourism. These days, tourism has become an independent field of business, not just at the local or national level, but also at the interstate and international level. We have a desire to visit several places such as the national monuments, the place of historical importance. We also want to get refreshed and relaxed, so we visit places of natural beauty. Some people they want to visit the ancient centers that are popular for their handicrafts. We also go as pilgrims to pilgrimage centers, though who are having commercial interest, they would like to visit industrial cities. Besides all this, we have a desire to visit those sites of various developmental projects. All these sites they promote tourism. Tourists from all over the world they wish to visit natural sites like the Niagara Falls and man-made sites like the Great Wall of China. This great natural and man-made sites they offer a delightful and awe-inspiring experience to the tourists. The places like snow-capped peaks, beaches, pristine jungles. Pristine jungles means original and unspoiled jungles which were neglected earlier. They have also become important locations nowadays for tourist interest. And looking into this, mass media they also began to make audiovisual presentations to highlight the places of tourist interest. Tourism can be broadly classified into local and interstate tourism, international tourism, historical tourism, geographic tourism, health tourism, agrotourism, sports tourism, tourism based on special events, religious tourism. Let's understand the first type of tourism, that is local and interstate tourism. This type of tourism is traveling within one's own country. It is not very overwhelming. Traveling is easy and we can make changes in our itinerary as per our convenience. Language is also not an obstacle in this type of tourism. We do not need visa or any other documents, nor do we require a separate currency. If you want to explore the glamour and glaze of the international cities, you will have to take up international tourism. Let's study about the second type of tourism, that is international tourism. Nowadays, it has become much easier to travel abroad because of various options of transportation that are available to us. And these options are railway transport, marine transport and air transport. Marine transport, although it is linked to the coastal regions, so once you alight on a coastal area, you will have to take up other mode of transport to reach to the interiors. In Europe, there is a trans-European railway route because of which many European countries are connected territorially. Aviation, it has also brought the world closer. We live in a global village, all thanks to the internet and international aviation. With respect to aviation, even the government of India has taken important steps. The government of India, it has started with the economic liberation policy, after which many private entrepreneurs were allowed in the field of aviation. And it is because of this policy of the government of India, we can see people traveling back and forth from India. It has increased considerably. There are several reasons as to why people travel to international places, and one such reason is education or studies. Besides education, people travel abroad for relaxation. And why not? Today's world, it is very competitive and everyone feels stressful. So international tourism and various spots for international tourism, it can ease you out and help you out in relaxation. Yet another reason for international touring is sightseeing. Another reason for people traveling abroad is professional in nature. They can have professional assignments, meetings, or agreements because of which they need to travel abroad. And finally, there are other reasons such as shooting for films. Thanks to Bollywood, it is just because of Bollywood, many international tourist spots they have become popular in India, because of which movies Bollywood had preferred international location. Then for international tourism, one needs to have various official documents for traveling abroad, that is basically the passport and visa. Next type of tourism is historical tourism. This type of tourism, it is very popular all over the world. To satisfy people's interest in history, tours to historical places are arranged. So if I am interested about the history of Mughals, I cannot afford to skip a visit to famous monument, that is Taj Mahal. With respect to Maharashtra, I have some information to share with you regarding historical tourism. Gopal Nilkanth Dandekar. He was a famous Marathi writer and he used to arrange hiking tours to forts in Maharashtra. These hiking tours were basically to explore the sites which are linked to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his achievements. Tours are also arranged to historical sites that have historical importance in India, such as forts in Rajasthan, Sabarmati Ashram of Mahatma Gandhi, Paunar Ashram of Acharya Vinoba Bhave, and important places that are related to the Indian War of Independence of 1857. Let's start with geographic tourism. This type of tourism involves visiting places to observe special geographic features of a region. Our own state Maharashtra, it is full of varied geographical features. There are hilly regions, plains, plateaus and rain shadow regions. So we can explore these areas to have geographic tourism in Maharashtra. These geographic regions, they may include regions of natural beauty and animal sanctuaries. In such places of natural beauty, we have Valley of Flowers, which is in Uttarakhand. And this Valley of Flowers, it has been declared as World Natural Heritage Site by UNESCO. India also has a long coastline, and that is why the beaches of our coastal areas are also the geographic feature of our country. Now we have two geographical wonders to study about. In Maharashtra, we have the crater lake that is at Lonar. This crater lake of Lonar, it is located at the Buldhana district of Maharashtra. Then besides the crater lake, we have Ranjan Khalge, which is at Nighoj. Here we can see naturally carved out cavities in the rocks, and this place is located in a village called Nighoj, which is in the Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra. And many tourists, they come to visit these places to satisfy the geographical curiosity that they have. Health tourism. This is the next type of tourism. Day by day, we see that popularity of Ayurvedic treatments, yoga and naturotherapy is increasing, and that is why India has become a favorite destination for people who are on health tourism. People from especially the Western countries, they find the health services and medical facilities in India comparatively cheaper. These facilities are not only cheaper, but they are of very good standards, and that is the reason why many foreigners prefer to come to India to avail medical facilities and health services. And besides this, India, it is a tropical country where we receive plenty of sunlight throughout the year. And that is why the tourists from cold countries are attracted to the tropical climate of India. Availability of various facilities for yoga training and therapies, which is based on Ayurveda, is one more reason as to why foreigners visit India. Now let's study about agrotourism. Agrotourism is also known as agritourism, and this type of tourism, it is rapidly developing in India. This is popular amongst the urban population because the urban population, it has got very less exposure to the rural or the village life of India and agriculture. So the people from the cities are visiting villages to know more about agriculture. Many Indian farmers and agriculturalists are visiting faraway places for agricultural research, so that they would visit places that are having these agricultural research centers and agricultural universities. Country like Israel, it is very good with respect to experimentation in advanced technology for agriculture. And because of the experimentation that is carried out in Israel, Indian agriculturalists are also visiting Israel these days. Sports tourism. Sports tourism, it is a new concept which has developed in the 20th century. Attending various events organized at the international level, national level and the state level is the main objective of sports tourism. So there are several sports events which are organized at the international level, such as the Olympic game and the international tournament known as Wimbledon. Besides Olympic and Wimbledon, we also have World Chess Championship matches and international cricket tournaments. So when you visit these places as a spectator and you want to attend these events, you choose to take up sports tourism. There are many sports events which are organized at the national and the state level. At the national level, we have the Himalayan Car Rally that is organized in India. And besides the Himalayan Car Rally that is organized at the national level, we have Maharashtra Kesari Wrestling Competition which is organized at the state level. So, traveling to attend such events come under sports tourism. Let's begin with tourism based on special events. There is a tourism which is based on special events, for example, attending a live music concert in India or abroad. It could be a example of a special event for which tourism could be taken up. There are many international book festivals and award functions wherein people want to travel and attend these events. So people, they want to travel and they are often on the lookout for the special reasons to do it. In the 21st century, it has become common to organize various events to promote tourism. One such event could be international debate or discussions on global issues. Another event could be film festivals. Besides debates and film festivals, we have various types of seminars and conferences which have been conducted at several places in the world. There is another event, that is International Book Exhibition. These are the different examples of special events that could attract tourists. Let's proceed and understand about our very own state, Maharashtra. Many literature enthusiasts, they travel every year to attend Pan India Marathi Literary Convention, and this is also known as Akhil Bhartiya Marathi Sahitya Sammelan. And those people who are interested in Marathi literature, they travel to these places where the conventions are organized. Now let's gather some information with respect to religious tourism. People of various religious communities are dispersed everywhere in the world, such as the Jews, Buddhists, Christians, Muslims, Hindus. But these religious communities are united because of the mythological traditions and the places associated with those traditions. Say for example, the city of Jerusalem or Jerusalem. This city has become important to unite three religions of this world, that is Judaism, Christianity and Islam. Different religious places create a desire in us to travel to those places in order to satisfy our religious aspirations. This is what you call as religious tourism. In Maharashtra, we have a Maharashtrian woman whose name was Ahilyabai Holkar. She needs a special mention over here in this context, that is, in the context of religious tourism. The constructions that were undertaken by Ahilyabai Holkar are worth mentioning because she did this with her personal funds. Ahilyabai wanted to provide good facilities to the pilgrims en route to Char Dham, and that was done with her personal funds. And besides this, Ahilyabai Holkar had also provided facilities to the pilgrims who were on the Bara Jyotirlinga Yatra. Let's understand about cultural tourism. Cultural tourism include activities such as visiting educational institutes of repute, trying to get the glimpse of local culture, such as in our state Maharashtra, we celebrate Gudi Padwa with lot of pomp. So one who would want to visit Maharashtra should definitely take up the occasion of Gudi Padwa if he is on a cultural tourism. You can have the glimpse of our history and tradition if you take a cultural tour to the March Past that is conducted at Delhi on 26th of January, that is Republic Day every year. Visiting historical monuments of a particular place is also included under cultural tourism. You can also take cultural tourism to appreciate and cherish the achievements of local people. Participating in the local festivals of dance and music, these are the activities that were included under cultural tourism. We will now study about development of tourism. With respect to development of tourism, we need to acknowledge an important fact. Students, tourism is an important source of national income. Besides that, tourism industries also create a lot of opportunities of employment. And so, we need to develop tourism for our nation's growth as well. The crucial issue in the development of tourism is providing proper guidance to all. This guidance needs to be given to the national as well as the international tourists with respect to various aspects of their actual travel. They need to be informed about using different modes of transport. They must be properly informed about the time they need to reach to a particular destination. Besides this, proper social conduct during the tour is also important. So, we have to live this culture in a true sense. We should give priority to ensure the safe transportation and security facilities to the tourist. Then amenities of reasonably good standard such as good accommodation, at the hotel and good washroom facilities on the travel routes is of great importance when it comes to the promotion of tourism. It is also important to pay attention, that is special attention, to the needs of specially challenged tourists. Students, it is important to take a few primary precautions in order to preserve the historical heritage sites. Few things that should be avoided at all cost is: first, we should stop vandalizing or destroying the heritage monuments and sites, and in order to avoid it, everybody should refrain from writing on walls of heritage or historical monuments. We see that people write with charcoal on the walls of the monuments and all over the buildings, which is considered to be historical heritage. We must not carve on the trees. We also see that people have used garish colors to paint ancient monuments, and even this should be avoided at all costs. Lack of good amenities, especially with respect to cleanliness in the presence of heritage sites, causes filthiness, and this is not going to promote tourism in our nation. So cleanliness is next to godliness, and we should see to it that the tourist spots should not be spoiled. It should be kept clean. Let's study about the factors that are required to boost tourism. Information on the tourist site should be written in English and the local language, and this information should be made available in the form of pamphlets or through guides or in the form of map and history books to the tourists. A guide, he should be a proficient speaker and he should have good knowledge of the site, as well as he should be trained to talk in more than one language. In the previous part of this lesson, we learnt about development of tourism. But development is not possible unless we learn to conserve and preserve our historical monuments and heritage sites. So let us begin with conservation and preservation of our heritage. It is very difficult and very hard to preserve and conserve our heritage sites, but it is not impossible. Our country is full of historical sites dating to the ancient, medieval as well as the modern period. Besides the historical sites, our country is also blessed with abundance of nature. So we need to protect both historical sites and heritage monuments. We have to protect the nature. Heritage of any country is divided into natural heritage and cultural or man-made heritage. Under cultural heritage, we can include the temples. As far as natural heritage is concerned, we have the forests, the mountains and the rivers of India. There are few heritage sites in India that are acclaimed, that is, they are famous globally, and they are the Taj Mahal at Agra, Jantar Mantar Observatory at Jaipur, then we have rock cut caves at Ajanta and Ellora, which is also known as Verur. And we have the Gharapuri caves, which are also known as the Elephanta caves. Then we have Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Railway Terminus in Maharashtra, which is also globally acclaimed. The Kas Pathar or the Kas Plateau in Maharashtra is located in the Western Ghats, which is also a World Natural Heritage Site. There are tourists all over the world who wish to visit World Heritage Sites, There are foreign travelers or tourists who come in large numbers to visit the heritage sites of our country, and we feel proud when our Indian heritage site is declared as World Heritage Site. But however, when we visit such places, we feel sorry for whatever we see there. We get to see that people have written their names with charcoal. We get to see that the people have drawn pictures over the monuments, and they have even vandalized many heritage sites. So students, by doing this, it affects the reputation of our country, and it is in our hand to preserve these heritage sites and the historical monuments. And so to preserve these heritage sites, we need to take a pledge that the first pledge we must take is, I shall strive to maintain the cleanliness of the heritage site. The second pledge we need to take is, I shall not do anything which will result in vandalizing of any historical site. We will now see about heritage walk. The term itself is self-explanatory. It means to have a walk at various heritage sites. Heritage walk means to go on a tour visiting historical places. We can experience the thrill of being a part of history by participating in heritage walk. Heritage walk as an organized group activity has gained popularity, especially in China. India has a rich history which can be traced to many millenniums. Every region of India is full of historical places from ancient, medieval and modern period. These heritage walks that are arranged across India have got lot of importance with respect to exploring history. So one such heritage walk which is organized in the city of Ahmedabad is well known. Such heritage walks are organized in Maharashtra as well. In the cities of Mumbai and Pune regularly are famous. Heritage walk can encourage people to support the projects of conservation and preservation of historical monuments, and for preserving and conserving monuments we need to collect relevant information. So people who visit such monuments, they can help us in collecting authentic information about various historical places and monuments. Such information is also to be published through various media. So this is how people participating in historical heritage walks can help in conserving and preserving of historical monuments. Residences of renowned citizens such as leaders who have passed away, such residences are also a part of our heritage. In some cities, blue plaques with names and other relevant information of such citizens are placed on their residences. This is a part of our heritage scheme. There are many professional opportunities which are available in tourism and hospitality industry. So let's see about it. Tourism and hospitality, it's an industry where maximum employment opportunities can be created. If it is managed properly, it can become a stable industry, and then there would be a lot of scope for experimentation and innovation. A good number of employment opportunities are available here in tourism. Let's see which are these. They are of travel agents. Then we have pilots and flight attendants. Next we have hotel managers and receptionists. We will also have employment opportunities such as tourist travel guide as well as of the chef. So you can see there are many employment opportunities in tourism and hospitality industry. A country benefits from foreign tourists. The country which is a tourist destination, it begins to receive the revenue, that is money, even before the tourist arrives at the airport of the country. How does this happen? First of all, the tourist will have to pay for his visa. Secondly, he will pay for his traveling ticket. He will make bookings to stay in hotels, and later when he arrives, he will pay for food, and he will also make payments for the translators and guides. Some tourists, they purchase newspapers and reference book of that particular destination, while others would like to purchase souvenirs for themselves. And this is how many tourists, they contribute to the growth of the country that they visit. There are also markets in the vicinity along for the development of the tourist center. So local handicrafts and cottage industries, they also begin to get a boost because of the tourist. The demand for locally processed food items and the ethnic handicrafts would also increase. So it results in better income for local artisans, businessmen, and even the wage earners. Let us now understand the development of tourism in our own state, Maharashtra. Our state Maharashtra is blessed with lot of rich natural and cultural heritage. The much admired rock-cut caves of Ajanta have got other specialties as well. Beside being a rock-cut cave, Ajanta is also famous for its paintings that are inside. These paintings, they have managed to survive till date. Beside the paintings, we have the sculptures which are very famous in the Ajanta caves. We also have caves at Verul, that is at Ellora, and also at Elephanta, which is known as Gharapuri in Maharashtra. There are pilgrim centers in Maharashtra, and they are Dehu, which is associated with Sant Tukaram. We have Alandi, which is the resting place of Saint Jnaneshwar. Then we have Jezuri, where thousands of people come annually to pay their homage to Lord Khandoba. Pandharpur is equally famous for Vitthal Rakhumai. This is located at the banks of the river Chandrabhaga. After Pandharpur, even Shirdi, it is famous for Sai Baba temple. Then we have Shegaon, which is associated with Gajanan Maharaj. There are temples which are dedicated to various goddesses in Maharashtra. Example, Tuljapur temple, it is for goddess Bhavani. Then Mahalakshmi temple at Kolhapur, which is dedicated to goddess Mahalakshmi. We have important temples such as the Kalaram temple at Nasik and a Jyotirlinga temple which is at Triambakeshwar. We have Paithan, a temple at Paithan which is associated with Santa Eknath. We have Sachkhand Gurudwara. Then we have the Haji Malang Dargah. We also have Mount Mary Church in Mumbai. So these are all the different pilgrim centers that we have in Maharashtra. Let's see the hill stations in Maharashtra. They are Mahabaleshwar and Panchgani, Lonavala and Khandala, Chikkhaldhara and Matheran. Besides this, we also have dams in Maharashtra, and let's visit the dams in Maharashtra. They are Koinanagar Dam, Jayakwadi Dam, Bhatghar Dam, and Chandoli Dam. Let us visit the sanctuaries in Maharashtra. Sanctuary at Dajipur. It is famous for the animal bison. Next sanctuary is Sagareshwar, which is basically a deer park with varieties of deer. Tigers are famous in the sanctuary called as Tadoba. These are the important tourist centers in Maharashtra. Now let us see the organization which is developing tourism in Maharashtra. This is the Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation, that is MTDC, and it was set up in the year 1975, and it is helping to develop tourism in Maharashtra. This corporation, it has provided facilities to tourist hotels. These tourist hotels, which are located at 47 places, these hotels can accommodate more than 4,000 tourists. And because of this corporation, many private entrepreneurs, they have started providing hospitality services to the tourist, because of the quality of the services is also improving. Let's try to understand about a small village in Maharashtra. It's a village named Bhilar, which is nestled in the scenic beauty which is near Mahabaleshwar, the land of strawberries. This village came to be known as Village of Books because of the scheme of Maharashtra government. Each household in this village, it maintains a library. And this movement was started to inculcate reading culture, and also for the tourists to enjoy reading. This scheme was implemented. Every alley has houses in a row, and small advertisement boards are put up near the first house in the row, and they show what kinds of books are kept in the houses in that particular row. So in this collection we find books of old and new authors and saints. We find about biographies, autobiographies, fiction, poetry, literature by women, on sports, and even on children's literature. Let's have an important snippet of information about Mahabaleshwar and Panchgani. Mahabaleshwar and Panchgani, these are the famous hill stations of Maharashtra. Thousands of tourists, they arrive here during monsoons. The tourist guides, they accompany and provide relevant information to the tourist on the sightseeing tours of these places. Thus, these tourist guides, they get employment opportunities. At some places, we find that photographers, they click snapshots for the people who arrive there. So these snapshots, which are taken by professional photographers, it gives them employment opportunities. There are housekeepers in these hill stations who provide horses for horse ride as well as for horse cart rides. So it is the local people who are engaged in these activities, and thus they can earn good money for their services that they provide. So students, that's all with the chapter Tourism and History. Thank you.